Hi, it's Gladness here. Thank you so much for tuning in to my YouTube channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Guys, thank you so much, my guest speakers, for all have something unique about us. You know, we've heard this lady of it. Helping you is showing you so that when you need something else, you can be able to do it yourself. Because it says that in verse 28, her husband praises her. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Motivational Monday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Gladness Katega here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another show for Motivational Monday. I am super, super duper excited to start a brand new series. Yes. Whew, this is going to be an emotional one. So I am going to do my best to stay calm because it has been 3 years, right? It's been 3 years. For those of you who have been following my journey, you would know about my personal story of how I rose from pain to purpose, how I overcame life challenges. And whew, as I'm filming this on the 11th of July, 2022, it is actually exactly 3 years today that 3 years ago on this day, I officially was homeless. Yeah, I'm going to let that sink in. 3 years ago today, you know, with Facebook notifications and things, it just popped up and I realized that this is what had happened. And you know, I just spent the morning reflecting. And as it was Motivational Monday, I had actually already planned to talk about how I rose from pain to purpose. And I was planning on launching this new series, but it was so timely to realize that on this day 3 years ago, I was homeless. On this day 3 years ago, I was going through divorce. On this day 3 years ago, my daughter, my very first child, had died, and may she continue to rest in peace. She's in heaven now. But by then, it had just been 6 months, 7 months, and I was in a place where I didn't know who I was. I was in this place of having no purpose. I was in so much pain. I was broken, and I had been in a place where I had never been in life. So if you're watching this and you're in that position where you are in stagnation, you're watching this, you don't know which way to go in life. You're watching this and you've been through a similar situation. Maybe you had a loss, or you're going through breakup, you're going through divorce, or maybe you're in it and you don't know how to come out. Then this is the episode for you. This is the show for you to learn from my experiences, how I rose from pain to purpose, how I overcame some of my greatest life challenges. But 3 years on, I'm in my purpose. I'm living my dream, literally. And I'm in the opposite of what I was 3 years ago. So, whew. Oh my God. Yeah, this is not going to be easy, but I can do it. And I do this because I want women in my environment. I want people that are connected to me to learn from my mistake. I want people who are connected to me to, you know, have what I needed back then was some guidance, you know, to know that I'm not on my own, to kind of have an idea of how somebody could overcome this. And not in the traditional way, because there's no necessarily books, or when you're in that situation, you don't necessarily know where to look. So I figured if I'm going to be in people's lives, and you know, I'm going to be on social media, and I believe that my testimony of overcoming these challenges was so that I can be able to actually share my story and help others overcome similar situations. So Yeah, welcome. This is going to be a series of around 5, 6 to 7 episodes. I am still working on how far I take it, but I'm going to be having at least 7 episodes where I'm going to be sharing with you strategies on how to rise from pain to purpose. But today, in this particular episode, the first episode, I'm going to be sharing you my testimony. I'm going to be sharing you what I went through, giving you some examples of what I did in my experiences that really helped me to overcome the challenges. And everything that I'm sharing with you actually is based on this book that I wrote. This was my awakening. This is literally what it's got my testimony in there, but it's also got the 5 key steps that I used to rise from pain to purpose, to overcome life, and how I rediscovered myself. It's called Queen Unleashed by Gladys Katega. You can find this on Amazon. The women that have come to me who have read this book have shared how it has helped them to overcome, their challenges. Most of them were in a similar situation. So I pray that I hope that it will be helpful to you. Feel free to go and check that out. And yeah, so before we dive too deep, this is going to be very emotional for me, like I keep saying, but I will get through it. But before we dive too deep, let's take a quick short break.
Gladys Katega.
Gladys Katega supports women who face trials in life to learn how to overcome challenges and rise from pain to purpose. Gladys has served women internationally, providing business coaching services and personal development support. She empowers women to follow their dreams and passions, despite challenges that life may throw at them, and discover their purpose. Gladys is a business consultant for over 10 years, with a passion for entrepreneurship development in Africa. Gladys provides coaching and mentoring services in business development for entrepreneurs worldwide. Gladys lives a purposeful life for supporting women to unleash their queen identity through her courses, coaching, mentoring, workshops, and events.
All right, welcome back to Gladys Official YouTube channel. If you are brand new here, then make sure you hit the subscribe button, also hit the bell so that you can get notified every time I upload a brand new video. And also share this video, comment, like. It will really help with the algorithms and all of that. So let's dive into today's topic. And again, every Monday, 8 p.m. is when we will be having this series. And I really hope that you can join me throughout them, because I'm going to be following up. Every episode is going to be a follow-up from where we left off. Yeah, so it's really important that you try to make sure you watch every single episode so that it can really help you. I believe it will be beneficial and transform your life. So I'm going to be talking about the steps that I took to transform my life, to reinvent myself whilst in this predicament. The first step that I took was I had an awakening, right? I literally feel like all my life I was living in a bubble. I was in this bubble of not having any major life challenges per se. Grew up with a very normal kind of childhood. But because of some of the past traumas that I had gone through, growing up with a single parent and, just being so naive, I was in this bubble, like everything was rosy, everything was okay. And I believe that, the relationship that I was in, I attracted that because I hadn't learned about myself. I was in this bubble of what life was. I hadn't taken time to really learn myself, which is one of the points I'm going to talk about. So for you to be able to come out of a toxic relationship, come out of failure, come out of a predicament, you really need to have this awakening. You need to come out of the bubble and realize that, okay, this is really happening. You need to accept the situation. I had to accept that, okay, I am going to get divorced. I am processing this. I had to accept that, okay, so my daughter is not here, but really seek God in understanding that there is a greater purpose for what's happening. I had to let go of what I couldn't control. My awakening means that coming out of thinking that things are going to be okay. A lot of people who are in toxic relationships tend to have this, thoughts of, as a Christian, I will keep praying, I will keep trying, different things, and I will change so that they can change, or if I do things differently, things will get better. But actually, you have to get to a place where you have an awakening and you come out of that bubble. If a person is meant to change, they would change. You would see signs of that. And again, one of the things I talk about is getting actual support. But if you're in a situation where it's toxic, anything that is toxic, you need to come out of that bubble. You need to have the awakening and accept the situation for what it is. Otherwise, you won't be able to move forward. Then the next thing is the healing journey. Now, the healing journey is a journey, right? It doesn't stop. Just because I have managed to overcome these challenges doesn't mean that I don't grieve. It doesn't mean that I don't still hurt. It doesn't mean I don't miss my child. I do. But I have gotten to a place of understanding and acceptance and knowing that I cannot change what has happened, but I can do two things. I can allow the situation to destroy me, or I can allow the situation to transform me. And that is the decision that I made in my healing journey. I made the decision that I will not allow that situation to destroy me, but I'm actually going to allow it to redefine who I am. And healing means just getting help with your emotional well-being, forgiving yourself. And how you do that is even just changing your environment. I personally went into a total isolation. So when I say 3 years ago, I became homeless, officially homeless, ending up in a domestic shelter where I was fleeing domestic abuse, right? So I had to isolate, but then that meant I just cut off everybody in my life because I needed to be by myself to go through that healing journey. And I did this for a good 9 months to a year, where I just spent time healing, praying, meditating, journaling, getting counseling, processing what had happened to really understand how I got to the place that I was. So you need to ask yourself, I'm not saying it's not about blaming and, pointing fingers, or I could easily say he did this and he did that. But I had to, in the healing journey, I had to understand, how did I get to this place? What did I do that contributed to being here? And for me, it was things like not loving myself, staying in that situation because I didn't value myself. I didn't have self-identity. I didn't know who I was, right? Other childhood issues that happened to me meant that I did not have me as priority. So healing is about you really understanding what past things that may have happened that led to this. And again, counseling helps with this. Now, again, how long it takes, it can vary. I'm not saying 9 months or 1 year or 6 months. That's what it should be for you. For you, it could be very different. For you, it could take longer. You may not be able to isolate yourself. You may not be able to cut everybody off for personal reasons, but you can intentionally take weekends to yourself. You can intentionally work on your healing journey. Because if you don't do that, then, you know, it will always come back to you. It's not about pretense. If you don't heal, and again, the healing journey continues, because there are things that I still have to do. These are things that I still work on every day, right? Journaling, meditating and praying is things that I continue to do. So having gone from, you know, again, I say I was pretending to be happy. I wasn't really happy. I was not living an authentic life. So coming out of that, I had to really introduce myself to who I was and really understand the truth of why was I pretending. You know, some values and beliefs that I had adapted, and a lot of people in our culture, and I say our culture being in a lot of Black or African culture, you don't have your own. Everything you believe is based on the society, it's based on your family, it's based on your community. So part of my healing work was understanding that, okay, some of the things that were going on are things that I do not believe in. These are not things that I value. These are not my beliefs. So it's a long process, but it's a continuous journey, so you have to keep working at it. The next thing you have to do is make a decision to rewrite your story, right? Make a decision on who you want to be. You can either allow your past to define you or refine you. If you sit in that situation and believe that and keep saying to yourself, again, positive affirmations, if you keep giving yourself negative affirmation and saying how, you know, you're not worthy, or this is why this is happening to you, and saying all these negative things, then you will not be able to reinvent yourself. You will not be able to transform anything. You have to decide that I want to be better than this, but that means working on who you want to be. Rewriting your story means imagining yourself as the greatest version of yourself. This is why meditation helps. Physically visualize yourself at your best. What does that look like? Get a vision board. You know, I'm a big believer in vision boards because that's one of the first things that I did, right? You may be having dreams. I used to have dreams about my future, and those dreams are real because it's God showing you of what you can be, right? But that doesn't manifest. It doesn't come to light until you tangibly sit down and start working on designing that life that you want for yourself. So rewriting your story means you saying, okay, and this is where Queen Unleashed actually came from, this words Queen Unleashed, because once I knew my identity and I said, well, I'm a queen and I'm unleashed, that means the brokenness is gone and I've unleashed the queen that's inside of me. And this is how I said I rediscovered myself and who I was. So what is that for you? What does that version look like? You need to work on understanding that. Next, you have to work on your personal development. Oh, personal development is one of my favorite things. Again, this is about self-care. This is about self-love. This is about practicing things that will help you become a better version of yourself. Yeah? Practically reading the right books. You know, you've got YouTube now, self-help books. You've got to watch the content. You've got to delete watching things that are not going to help you become who you desire to be. So for me, I cut off TV, I cut off, you know, a lot of shows that I was watching that was reflecting my old views and reflecting who I was, that had me stagnant, that the things that had me in that place, I had to stop. And that may also be about changing your friends, changing your group of circles. What do they believe in? Are they the reason that you're in stagnation? Are your friends, or sometimes even your family, the reason that you are not growing or you're in that relationship? Because if you don't believe in the things that other people around you believe in, then that means you just need to recreate your circle. And in this day and age, it's easy. You've got social media, right? You could network. You can go to Facebook groups. You can go out there and reconnect with new people. It's okay to do that. Yeah, it's okay to do that. And the last point, which I have, I've got to let me just write these notes down, which is number 5 is to keep evolving. Keep evolving, right? So you have to keep evolving. Because just because I've transformed today doesn't mean that this transformation that I've just undergone is going to be helpful for me tomorrow or next year. I have to keep growing. I have to keep searching for a greater version. There's no limit. There's no end. You have to keep evolving because you are going to have episodes of the past. You are going to have those people from before, right, coming into your life and questioning your identity, questioning your growth, questioning who it is that you have decided to be. So it's down to you to really make that decision to say, this is who I am and I'm not going back. And you really have to stick to that. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to continue this subject, continue this series next week with episode 2. So I do encourage you to subscribe. I encourage you to also, if you want to get this book, I'm going to share it now for you to have the details, to take time and actually go on Amazon and purchase it, because I believe it will help you to unleash the queen inside of you and transform your life. So till next week, thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I look forward to seeing you again. That is the details for the book. It was launched January 9th. 2021, and I'm really excited for what will happen by this time next year. So have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you again next week.